All right, this time talking about introverted intuition, the most annoying element in typology because it gets assigned all kinds of ridiculous things, right? So, NI is really just about taking yourself outside of the present moment and thinking about where things are going, where things have come from, and where are they going. In order to have an I, you need to have the opposite. It's SE component. They work together. Now, if SE is all about being in the moment, present, seeing opportunities, taking advantage of what's here and now, impulsive, then NI is doing the other stuff, the opposite stuff of that. Okay. That doesn't mean NI and SE are the opposites. They're not. Okay. But if SE is being in the present and now, NI is everything else. It's being outside of the present moment. It's thinking about the broader view of things. Where are things coming from? Where did it all start? Where are things going? Where are things going to be 10 years from now? NI users will often talk about seeing themselves. They're like stepping outside of themselves and outside of the moment and saying, this is how I see myself in my archetype, my life story, and the journey that I want to be on and where I'm going to go. They're very focused on that, right? This is not being present. You're thinking about where you want things to be. It's not actual reality yet. It's not in the sensory world. It hasn't actually happened. It's where you want things to go. Because they stay very focused on that, they're trying to stay on that path. They see where they want to be, where the journey of their life wants things to go. So they're staying on that, doing that thing. This also makes them seem like they're not in the moment. They're not here, present. Their mind is elsewhere, thinking about where things are going to go. And so they're not taking advantage of the things going on in their immediate environment. This makes NI types often seem slow to act. They often complain about that they feel like they just don't get up and get moving and get things going. And they need an SE person to help them to do those things. They're spending too much time thinking about the stuff. Where's it going to go? How am I going to get there? Am I still on my path to get to where I want things to be? Now, that's NI thinking about it more in the individual sense, focused on themselves. Where do I want to go 10 years from now? Where do I want things to be for myself and the immediate people around me? Probably more likely your INFJ. Your INTJ, okay, that was your IEIs versus now your, what the hell are we? ILI. The difference here is just that your ILI might be thinking a little bit more along the lines of, okay, I need to also be productive to get there. What are the things that I need in order to get to where I want to go? I'm taking a very pragmatic view of where I want my life journey to go and what I want it to be. And this may often include maybe not just themselves, but society as a whole. What do I think society is going? Where do I think we as a people are headed towards? Where do I think this tech can become? Take, for example, Ford coming up with like the Model T car. He probably, well, if he was an NI, let's put it this way, may look at that piece of tech and go, this one day is going to change society. It's going to replace how we move transportation all over the world. I can already see that. Now, to us today, we would say, well, it's obvious, right? But we're looking at it in hindsight over a century later. At the time, when there was no such thing as cars and things like that, everything was horse drawn or maybe trains. That would not have been so obvious. There would have been many people who said, why do we need that when we have horses? How is this rickety little thing that barely gets from here to there without needing maintenance? How is that going to replace the good old horse? Right? There would have been a lot of people who didn't see how this is going to change things. But an NI type may have seen that, may have gone, this thing right here will revolutionize stuff. Now, NIs are not always right. They don't have a crystal ball that they're like, this is exactly how it's going to be. They're just focused on how things may change, where things may go. They may focus on that broad picture and going, you know what, there was always this piece of technology that changed and became this, and then that changed and became that, and then that changed. And I've seen that pattern throughout history. So I know that when this car piece of technology comes around, it's going to do the same thing and revolutionize things. That's all they were doing. So NI has to go with SE. They're the inverse of each other. SE types will complain that they're so in the moment and opportunistic and impulsive that they often do things without really understanding the broader implications of what they're doing. They don't really quite understand how what they're doing today is going to affect them 6 months from now or a year from now. Sometimes 3 days from now. They don't get it. They may enter into relationships thinking, oh, this is fun, this is great, whatever. I don't, and they don't quite see how it's just not going to work out in the long run. They don't get it, right? This is because they're so focused on SE that their NI is weak. They're so opportunistic that they'll easily be derailed from whatever idea or plan they had in their head of where they wanted to go 5 years from now. People tend to ask that question, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Your NI type is more likely to be that person who's like, well, I hope that I'm doing this career and I'm doing this thing and I see myself with this family and this kind of situation. They usually have this longer, broader idea of where they want to go. They might even be that person who tells you, well, ever since I was 5, this is kind of what I always wanted to do. This was the direction I wanted to go in, and I've been going in that direction my entire life to kind of get there, narrowing down where I want to go in life. Your SE type, by contrast, is like, well, I think maybe I'll kind of be doing this in a few years, but who knows? And that's because the SE knows instinctively that they're so opportunistic and not really interested in the NI stuff so much that they know that an opportunity might pop up and they completely change directions. They go in a whole different career path. They go into something else altogether. They're aware of things changing and moving around. And so they want to be able to move around with it. They don't want to stick to some plan that just keeps going and going. They're not interested in that. So that's really all NI is. There's too many goofy ideas of stuff. So in short, NI, it's intuition. It's an idea. It's a thought. It's not in the sensory world. And it's a thought that you're focusing in on one particular idea or concept that you're zeroing in on, that's where you want things to go, particularly in conjunction with time. Time, that's why it's referred to as telos, time in socionics. Where are things going to go? This is where I want it to go, that one direction. This is going to be the other side of SE that is about being here and now, seizing opportunities and advantages and things here in the moment. Notice how the SE types describe NI and their weaknesses with that, and vice versa, how NI types describe their weaknesses with SE. So hopefully this helps to simplify stuff so we can get moving on with the so-called mysterious NI. It's not that big a deal, guys. It's really not that hard. Don't overcomplicate it.